Hello, I'm making a random off-script video. I don't actually have a script. Just something that came to head. My mind reason actually regarding Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail. Because as people know, I've been very critical of it. If anyone's even bothered following that. But the problem I encounter is that the more I think about it, the more I realise these games are actually okay now. But they're not perfect, and they definitely could be better in a lot of areas. But it just sort of reminds me that we need to keep prompting Hoyoverse to sort of care and put resources and effort into making this the best possible game they could be. It sucks because these games have so much potential. So the question is, are they really good now? And really my answer is kind of. When I started Genshin Impact, so a problem I encounter on a daily basis used to be the resin actually, but they fixed that and that's really good. You know, you used to have to log in twice a day to make sure you get maximum resin usage. Now it's like you can do it once and craft the resin, but I prefer to do it like actually I can do it differently. It's just had a fucking epiphany. Great. But yeah, I'm realising that I could be doing it a bit earlier and do it once a day, probably. Though that can be sometimes not efficient because I don't know if it actually caps out at 200 after 24 hours. It doesn't look like it does, but it does look like it runs close. So maybe I'm still fine logging in twice a day. Yeah, a lot of the problems in Genshin at the moment sort of relate to the gameplay and power creep and stuff, and obviously the gacha, and maybe the events actually. Like the events are becoming so shit that I don't even know if they even have any more ideas. I'm trying to think like what the last fun event was. And for me, my all-time favourite would be Windbloom from 1.4. But I don't know if there have been any good ones since, honestly speaking. Or maybe the Alchemy event, like it's basically a copy of something from Honkai Star Rail, the Arun Valley stuff. But that was quite enjoyable. It was like a shop management thing, and you basically had no limit or like difficulty sort of thing there. It's just go at your own pace. That was fine. I think that was the last good event. Lunar New Year's have been shit recently. I think the last good one probably was the second one. Could be mistaken there. Yeah. I don't know if there's anything else. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is the power creep of characters. Like, for example, Nuvile is absolutely busted. He's my highest character at the moment, like the most fucking highest damage every tick. He's doing anywhere from 25k to 40k. It's pretty nuts. He is C1 E1? I forgot what the fucking Genshin one is. Refined one, that's it. C1 R1. No, C0 R1, I mean. I don't know if I'm a constellation one. But he's broken, and I think that's a problem because that shows that there's a design philosophy for the game where it just favours you rolling the latest character, and that's not fun. Like when a character gets power crept, you feel like whoever has betrayed you. I enjoyed using was it Hyper Bloom? I got Nahida, Farina, Raiden, and Baizu, I think it is. Basically, I was a Hyper Bloom sort of set up, and it worked really well. But then for that came along and said, fuck you. have order, and we got it. So now he just power creeps every fucking thing, and that's not fun. Not fun for anyone. I'm just tired of it, really. We shouldn't be getting power creeps like this. It's fucking annoying. And the only other thing, like, pulse characters are great, like, Garnu and D-Luke, even. Like, the power creep is just never a fun aspect of any game. It never has been in the history of gaming. And with a live service, this sort of is bound to happen, even if it's like, not even the damage numbers are adjusted, but the mechanics. Like, are we going to get a character that suddenly has all these things in their kit, like 2 things in 1 trait? Which is a thing in the Honkai story, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But that just becomes unfair competition, and yeah, there's no point in rerunning characters at that point. Even though it's fair enough to roll them, it's not great, and especially with like the Spiral Abyss constantly getting harder. Like, I couldn't even freestyle the first floor, but I could freestyle the others. That's how insane it is. It's not fun, and that needs to change as well, the Spiral Abyss. The new game mode, I can't remember what it's about. Something Shadow, I think it was called. Or was that Honkai? But the end game sucks. It always has. Spiral Abyss always sucked. It was never fun. Exploration still has issues, actually, I remember now. Like getting around and tracking everything you've got. Like, for some reason, they can't put an in-game map of like collectibles. It just makes no sense. And you know, there's probably a way to load it by region. There's absolutely no reason that you can't do that. It's just ridiculous. Even then, load it by layer. Simple. No fucking problem there. But yeah, like, some players might need a guide for that, because whoever seems to make these puzzles so fucking complicated sometimes. Like, it's literally the thing I feared in gaming for a long time, is like, I was trying to think of the example. Like withholding information. And yeah. So that's where that went, really. I think that's all to talk about there. Could be wrong. But I think my summary of Genshin Impact is that it's in a far more playable state than it used to be, besides the power creep. I think if you're playing it for story more than characters, you're probably going to have a better time with that. Even though some of the stories are a bit crappy now, to be honest. Even though Fontaine's, the main story and stuff, is good, I think the Archon, is it Archon? I don't know, the one with Dane's Leaf, I think that one was weak recently. I didn't feel that was up to par. It feels a bit lazy and unexplored. It's so short as well, that's the thing. I was really surprised by that. So next is Honkai Story. Is it any good now? This is a tough one to answer, to be honest, because I'm partly thinking, yes, it's really good. The Pentaconi update was just insane. It's been good, but the problem is, it's gone backwards as well. The Divergent Universe, arguably one of the best updates to the game. It lets you use characters that are underleveled, undergeared, and gives them gear and levels and stuff. That's such a fucking good change. The revamping of the Simulated Universe is also kind of good. But I think they probably went a bit too far out with that, to be honest, because it's way more confusing now. The Simulated Universe, you just have to learn and get used to it, but now it's just like, you have to learn everything from scratch, and that's not fun. And you also, like, end up fucking up as well, because if you don't have the characters, you probably can't do it. Let's be honest, because these are gimmicky enemies now. They're gimmicky characters too, that fit the gimmicks. And what happens when we encounter a lovely trash can domain and we have a rainbow team? We can't really do much. And not to mention that the lovely trash can is already broken enough. So yeah, that's not a fun aspect. I don't look forward to encountering them. You know, trash cans were a funny thing at first, but they just become like, ugh, why? And just to briefly list off the things in Honkai style that are still problems. Power creep, but more importantly, actually, the need to have character icons to be optimal, like with Acheron, for example. I fucking detested when that happened, and I unfortunately dished out because I was desperate. I was in need of a character that can do that much fucking damage, and clear content effectively, for that matter. She's still my best investment, but who's to say down the line that she will be? So that's another problem. Also, what will that character do? What problem will they have? Another problem is the credit usage. I find I'm constantly running out of credits, even though at a point where I don't need to worry about it. This is concerning for quite a few reasons, obviously. Just not an enjoyable aspect, and to be honest, nobody wants to farm their characters for that because the drop's already scummy enough with like traces and boss materials. So the boss materials are fixed, thankfully. They're actually a fixed amount that you're given, but it's still kind of expensive. Like if everything was just traces, I'd be fine. It's a bit silly really to have like a separate materials, a bit like Genshin. Genshin's first, but I never found it a problem because you end up farming the enemies enough anyway, except when the new region comes out. Then you just need to farm everything from scratch. That gets frustrating. Honkai Story also has the problem of not being farm friendly. So when I did my Acheron farming guides, I did that under the sort of pretense that you could get credits from it, but the problem is that it's not really worth it. It's just better to wait it out, to be honest. You know, do your dailies and commission stuff, and you'll get plenty, especially at Equilibrium level 8. Was it 6? But the fun tribal is level 70, I think it is. But that's fine. You do get credits from that, but it's not good enough, if that makes sense. And, you know, when talents can cost up to 160,000, it's not great, it's not optimal. So it just gets stupid complicated and not very fun. So that needs to be addressed. Just the efficiency of farming, like you can get character XP, and that basically skips your need to put random characters in your team unless you farm as Acheron. Also, the farming feels slow, so there needs to be some sort of maybe character that's just speeds it up a bit, something like that. Get distracted by the dog. It just saddens me though as well, thinking about all this, because it's only like some of the minor issues. Although they can be major if they go out of control, I'm not the point there. It's just that these are issues that need to be addressed, and addressed soon. I'm trying to think what else is happening that's still bad. Yeah, actually the last story we got for Penacony, the Farewell Penacony, I'll be honest, it wasn't that great. It's just fucking, was it? I forgot the term, fan service, yeah. That's literally all it was. It's just giving you a bit of Firefly to play with, and that's it. Like, this patch doesn't really have anything going for it. And that's a fucking shame. Because there's so much more they could do with Honkai Story and Penacony and stuff. In a sense, it's one of the worst farewells I've ever seen. It's just so shit. Like, Spock has this whole villain arc, and suddenly, oh, spoilers by the way. She's a good person, just trying to follow a script that she was given, supposedly by Silver Wolf. What? And then we have like Argentina not being voice acted and stuff. It's fucking bizarre. So it just doesn't add up because the first few are fine. The Akron story was great as well. Very good finale with like the court boss, I forgot the name. And then we get the goofy part of the horse, and that's this bit. With Penacony. I don't even know how that happened. On the bright side, we've got better characters and it seems to be better exploration and optimizations overall. I remember last patch when they brought in the numbered system for the dialogue. I forget that it's there, but you can use it now. But I'm so used to Hoyoverse games not having it, so it's kind of hard to remember that it's there. So I can't play one-landed necessarily, even though you can. The game also just does a shit job of helping you reach a point. Like, the game tools are useful to an extent, but they're not gonna save you. They're not gonna get you through memory to start off, which they should, let's be honest. Oh yeah, and then there's this issue that both games share. I actually went into in my random moments video, which will come out soon, I think. That's the fact that a win condition creates toxicity. And put simply, it's when you require someone to win at a game to get a reward. That's when the toxicity comes out. And if you look at it like in competitive shooters, you see that everywhere. People are trying to get the rewards from it, not necessarily play it for the rank, but just the rewards. So it's a bit like counterintuitive, if that makes sense. And these toxic communities are like non-PvP games, so like PvE. And I think Final Fantasy, even though it has PvP, nobody really plays it, I don't think. So it's just like one of those things there and you just don't care about. And yeah, that's a good sign, because nobody should be caring about PvP, let's be honest. War's a child's game, as I put it. It literally fucking is, it's just control. It's a power creep, the term. I can't remember the term of like power and some control. Yeah. I think I've touched on everything here, I could be wrong. I've got to do some stuff now and get ready to sleep. Yeah, that's what I think of the games and I think Honkai Star Rail I do recommend, kind of, but you need to have the right characters. Like, getting an Akron team with Akron is pretty much crucial now. I think the best sort of sustain for her, in my opinion, might be Gallagher. Because his ultimate guarantees a debuff, as does Aventurine actually. But why I recommend Gallagher is because he has a cleanse ability to restore. And the reason why I want to recommend the Workshop is because he has an RNG chance to cause a debuff that gives Akron stacks. And like, on top of that, you probably need Kafka and Black Swan to play Akron optimally. Something which I probably can't afford at the moment. And you can pass by with like Paler and Grenithin, but they're not optimal. And what also like gets me is like my OCD. That's not a problem in these games actually, to be honest. But yeah, Genshin uses fucking multi of lives, like shield numbers and visuals and maybe the ability cooldowns on the screen. And that would make it a much more playable game, much more enjoyable. I think, oh fuck, I forgot what I was saying. I think it's the dot teams or something, dot characters, like Kafka and Black Swan. Yeah, we still have problems with like building characters, especially at the start of a patch. It's still a bit finicky at times. Yeah, I think I've pretty much touched on everything there for this whatever. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna go off now and start filming medication kicking. Feeling tired. So I'll see people in another video. I'm interested in what other people might think about this. Obviously write in the comments if you have something. I just think this is an interesting topic because we're at this point now in both games where they're sort of in their honeymoon period to an extent. Even though we've sort of gone past it to some extent, like with how it launched and everything, and how people perceived it. Obviously the game's changed quite a bit then, with both games, and I think it's important to discuss for that reason. So yeah, I really want to know what people think, what can be improved, what you encounter and stuff. But yeah, farewell. See you in another video.